Hey everybody, it's Chris here. I wanted to talk about The Seventh Guest. I just finished it for the Volpe Creates Game Club yesterday, and I've just been sort of thinking about it. I really enjoyed it. I mentioned it on stream. So first of all, I do a game club every month, and I pick a game. I try to make it like a smaller game, usually like 4 to 8 hours max, multi-platform, and it's sort of like a book club for video games, so that people can come and when they have time, they can play the game. I stream it on Sundays at 10 in the morning Eastern time. And this month's game for June 2026, which is also my birthday month, was The Seventh Guest. And this game is actually pretty special because this is one of not one of the first games that I played, but it was a game that I loved because I think it came out in like 91 or 93 originally. And it was just one of the like really cool PC games. I really enjoyed the vibe of it. I thought it looked great. And it used, well, I should say it's one of the first PC games that used full motion video, not one of the first PC games. So one of the first PC games that used full motion video. And yeah, I really loved it. I think it was just a really great experience. I enjoyed it tremendously. And here's the thing, is like the original game, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't hold up to the test of time. But I do think the vibe in the original game was better. That was more up my alley. I thought it had like a creepier vibe. It messed around more with, macabre things, just visually. It was still cheesy as all heck and very campy in a lot of ways. But I think that this one really, I hesitate to say like it's more, or it's like less mature. I don't know. Like it seemed like it went more accessible. It had more of like a PG-13 vibe to it, I guess. Even though there's some murders and stuff. I don't think there's any swearing. Yeah, that I can recall. Don't think there's any swearing, but there's no nudity or anything. So it's definitely like it's a PG-13. But the Seventh Guest remake, which is sort of a 2D version of the Seventh Guest VR, which was remade, was really cool. It came out this month, I think on June 5th, and I was like, I'm gonna make that my June game because I love this game. And yeah, I think it was a really fun experience. It's not a game that's got like a lot of hardcore depth to it. It's pretty on the surface, which I guess story-wise, something that I think did work in this is in the original game when you start, it pretty much just lays the entire story out for you. And like this, I think it's like maybe like a book or something where you're kind of looking through pages or something. I don't quite remember. But it more or less it tells you everything you need to know. What they did was they took that story that you get in the intro and they sort of they sprinkled it throughout this game, both in some of the full motion, which we're going to talk about in a second, and in these, I think they call them chronicles that you can pick up. So I thought that was cool. It allowed you as, a completely new player, and I knew what was going on, so, I'm not the average audience. But it would allow new players to go into this and slowly begin to learn about what's happening in this place. So I thought that was cool. I kind of went back and forth on this, where they broke it up in the remake so that when you go to the mansion, everything is like derelict. It's falling apart. There's spider webs everywhere. Things are rusting and whatever. And that's not how it was in the original. In the original, you I'm trying to think, you were in a pretty pristine place. Like it looked like it'd been, there a while or whatever. But yeah, I'm just thinking back. Like you looked, pretty good. Maybe I'll pull some video up to kind of show it to you as a comparison. But in this, everything is falling apart. And as you complete the puzzles and the rooms, then it like reverts back to its pristine days. So you also get this lantern, which is not in the original game, and you can use this lantern to look at the place. So if you shine a lantern like on a pot or something, let's say of flowers, you can see the flowers when they were alive in the past. So I think that was pretty cool. I do kind of like again, like I said, the vibe of the old one, because it's a little bit darker. I think it uses more of like a purpley blue palette as its base, whereas this tends to be a little bit more vibrant reds and yellows. There's some, greens in there and whatnot too, but I don't know. I just like aesthetically, I think you could go back and forth. It's probably just a personal preference. But then also walking around this mansion that's derelict as it's coming back to life. It's a cool idea, but I'm not quite sure if it all works from sort of like a narrative sense. Whereas in the old one, it was just kind of weird because you were in this mansion that nobody seemed to be in, but it still seemed to be kind of kept up with, which was kind of interesting. So there was no like past or future. It was just is what it was. But anyway, that doesn't really matter. Story-wise, like I said, they peppered this thing out, which I really like. And they used, instead of using a full motion video, which in the original version, if you can imagine them like shooting a video and then they would kind of like remove a lot of it and make it look ghostly. So characters would kind of fade in and out a little bit. And this, they used like these volumetric 3D recordings so that while you are watching the what do you call them, like the cinematics, I guess, take place, like in the original game you would kind of just watch what was happening, so that the camera would be set and you would watch what was happening in the scene, almost like a play maybe. In this, you can actually still move around while the thing is happening. And because it's this like 3D volumetric space, you can actually like move around them and sort of see behind them and everything, which is pretty cool. Until you get close to them, then they'll start to disappear. But I thought that was a pretty neat effect. It really allowed you to kind of like there was one scene where a character like had her hand behind her, and I was able to go around and see that like, oh, there was something she was holding in her hand. And I thought that moment was cool because like it gave you this opportunity to see these things. So all of that I think is really neat. I overall, the story, like I said, it's not groundbreaking. It's not going to blow your mind grapes. It's pretty cool how they interweave some of the story into the puzzles in this one. I think they do that a little bit more fluidly than the last one. The puzzles I think were pretty good. They're not terribly difficult. There's a few I got stuck on, but they weren't terribly difficult. A couple of the puzzles in the old version, man, they were so like obscure and just like you were just making your best guess on it. Really, it didn't even like make that much sense. So I think that this one is better in that sense, that not only are the puzzles sort of more easily intuited, that each of the rooms has kind of a more thought out theme, and the puzzles blend into that theme a lot better, I think. And to be honest, like it's been a long time since I played the first game, the original game. I played it a ton. I've still got it. I should have brought it out. I got like the strategy guide for it. I've got the soundtrack for it. I still have the PC box with all the discs in it and stuff. So I have all that stuff. Maybe if I can, I don't even know where that is. I would say maybe I can find it. I could dig it up for you. But yeah, I think all in all, it was a good game. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I think it's like $20, so it's definitely worth. Get a friend, have them come over and just play the game with you, and you guys can like work on the puzzles together. So that was a lot of fun, and I think the story is gripping enough, and there's enough going on with the characters to kind of keep you intrigued throughout its runtime, which is pretty it's pretty decent. I think it took me, I don't know, I'm importing the videos now, probably took me 6 or 7 hours to beat the game, maybe. And I didn't use any like hints or anything. And there's an in-game hint system you can use. I didn't use any of that for my first playthrough. So it's a fun time. Have someone come over, grab a couple drinks or some sodas and a little snacks, and just kind of walk around the mansion. And I think it's a really fun just weekend you could have, if you're willing to do it over a couple of sessions. If you're super good at puzzle games, then I don't know, you might be able to beat it in a couple hours. I kind of did a rush through when I was trying to do the platinum of it, and I think it maybe took me an hour and a half ish, maybe hour 45 to get through it. And that's with me kind of knowing roughly all the puzzles and then using the in-game hint system, which allows you to complete puzzles if you want to. I was just trying to get some of the collectibles, so I was kind of rushing through it. So I think even if you're pretty decent at puzzles, it's probably going to take you 3 or 4 hours as you look around. And there's just lots of cool stuff to like check out too. And I've heard the VR version is really fun. So yeah, I think overall, I'm going to give the Seventh Guest remake a B on my scale. I use I guess fail and then D, C, B, A, and S. So I use kind of like the video game system for that, the special system. Yeah, I think I'm going to give it a B. I think it was really solid. It was a lot of fun. It was well done, well put together, and it was a really good time. So that's my 2 cents on the Seventh Guest remake, which came out in June of 2026. Hope you enjoy, and I will see you in the next video. Have fun, everyone.